Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Capricorn, and always a big welcome to those who felt like this constellation, which happens only once a year, is having an inspiration for them as well. My dear Capricorn, today is your new moon, and of course that means the sun is in your sign as well. So now when I look at the moon and when I look at the sun, I see both times your constellation behind it, and that's the magic, right? That they are aligned in such a way that now you have these two energies from the perspective of the earth in your sign, and so you have this extroverted and the introverted energy within you. And the new moon, which we don't see in the sky, gets forgotten very often. The full moon, it's like, oh yeah, there's a full moon, right? And so the people don't realize that actually the new moon is more powerful than the full moon. Maybe not more powerful, but it's different. It just has a different energy, because in your full moon, which is opposite of your sign, which is Cancer, the Cancer sun is giving you the light to your full moon, and that's a different combination. So here we are attached to these kind of rhythms, to these energies, and that's where the devil is coming in as that, well, I make you attached to this physical dimension, but we also know that we can liberate ourselves from it. The yoga position that I gave you is Nataraj Asana, the dancer pose, because for me you're not a devil. For me you're God Pan, and the God Pan dances easy up into the third eye, up here where you have the sign of the pentagram pointing downwards as that energy is coming down to you. So here you're dancing yourself up, 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 like the social status that you are connected with, the 10th house of social status. And of course your planet is Saturn, that is giving you the teacher, the father, this little bit austere energy. And when we look at it, right, his head is the constellation in the sky, the way the stars are arranged in your sign. And so here the court card that is connected with you is the Queen of Pentacles. She's looking lovingly at this coin, and she's facing the left spinning cycle, which is the path from deep within, from the soul to the outside. And of course I also do right spinning readings, which is happening today, is the path from the outside, the physical path, to the within. The soul is affected as well in this moment, right? And so we have a right and a left spinning cycle, which connects with the earth spinning 365 days around the sun. And the other one, the left spinning path, is the earth spinning around its own axis for 25,800 years. This wobble creates then divided through 12 an age. So then the age right now is the age of Pisces, but we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And yeah, you know that you have now the power to recognize your own moment in history, in time, and here you're sitting lovingly and caringly facing the left spinning cycle. If your birthday is between December 12th and January 8th, this is your court card. If your birthday changes, please look in the description below. I'm just gonna take my jacket off. It's actually gotten much, much warmer here in Germany, and I've been seeing that there is quite a cold in the States, so I hope you will stay quite warm. Connecting back to the last reading where you had the Sagittarius sun influencing your Capricorn moon, for liberty, deepen your intuition was the message. And you can see here the High Priestess has spoken to you, has given you power to actually take that path that you have to take, right? We have to take the path, the physical path, and the soul, of course, comes here for a reason. So it wants to experience all the things that we can experience here. So this is a right spinning reading, and we begin right away on the position of the Fool comes the Fool. So as you can see, the one thing that is similar to the Rider-Waite card is that this wand is pointing into his corner, where the Sun is now here in the Rider-Waite. He looks really chic, and he looks totally crazy. And that's what the Fool is. The Fool is crazy, and he even has his pants down, and he looks like he's, I don't know, he doesn't even know what he's doing, right? And he's looking at you, and the Rider-Waite is actually pointed to the left. So this state of consciousness is saying, just begin. Whatever comes, there is this foolish thought that's coming to you, just follow it. Don't worry if you're going to fall off the cliff. Don't let anything change your path, because you have the number 6 here as the 6 feathers in his head, and you are the number 6. 15, right, becomes a 6. So there is a message that something wants to come at you, to you, and you want to listen to that state of consciousness. And of course, on the position of the Magician comes the rattle, and the rattle is the 43, which then becomes a 7. And the infinite 8 is above his head of the Magician. He knows that the Fool has this thought and he acts upon it, right? That's what the state of consciousness of the Magician does. And you act to use this tool because you're looking slightly over to the rattle, and you say, okay, maybe I'm going to create a rhythm. I'm going to create something, right, with this thought, and I am spinning it. Maybe I have to see, right? And the 7 then becomes kind of the crown chakra, and the 6 is always the third eye, where here the pentagram is pointing at. And so the 4 is the responsibility of the emperor, and the 3 is giving birth, like the empress, to this state of consciousness, to this success, because the 7 is the success of Cancer, and Cancer is opposite of you. So maybe you are knowing deep within that in your next full moon, which is in 6 months, that now this new moon, you're planting your seed, you're putting this idea into the ground, and in 6 months he's gonna blossoming and is coming to you. On the position of the High Priestess comes here the 3 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands is Sun in Aries. So already in the month of March, something is coming to a strong, powerful action, right? Because this is, your intuition is telling you, then when the Sun is in Aries, I have all what I need, all what I want, and the 3 is here as a 3-3 portal. You shake the things, you use that tool, you used the wand, right? Which of course lies here on his table. You're using the wand that you have here maybe just as a weapon back then, right? And now it's becoming more and more sophisticated, and you are realizing, like, I am using it. And so the 3 of Wands is this, I'm stepping out and using my intuition. I'm becoming this empowered, established energy of the Magician that's saying, I'm looking out and I know that things are coming to me. I know that things are happening. I know that things are shifting, and I am creating new things. I'm giving birth to new ideas, to new actions, because this action created a rhythm, and that rhythm brings these ideas to you. Then on the position of the Empress comes the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is the state of consciousness that says, okay, what is your initial thought, or your what is this life all about? The quiz of life, right? This is what here the Wheel of Fortune is telling you. You're giving birth through the Empress, a state of consciousness that's saying, okay, I know that things are always coming and going, but I can see that the Wheel of Fortune here is turning into the left spinning. So there is a soul path, there is this moon, there is these caduceus, these snakes, Ida and Pingala, which we say, right? And then the Sphinx is up here, and it's shifting and changing all the time. And so the Empress is saying, just go for whatever the Wheel of Fortune is pushing you, because that's Jupiter. And Jupiter is a huge planet. I mean, the Earth fits like 250 times into it. So it's huge, and the influence is big, right, on us. And that's where we understand all of a sudden, okay, things are much, much bigger, because that's also what the position of the hand mudra is saying. It's like Spock's hands, right? It's like there is more to this world, there's more to this attachment that we think we cannot liberate ourselves of, right? Then comes you. I put you always here as a state of consciousness that has understood these four energies, right? The Fool, the Rattle, the Three of Wands, and now here the Wheel of Fortune. And you are sitting here and you're recognizing something profound, right? You're recognizing that you can begin fresh and new your path, because this is a very specific day. This is a day where you're recognizing, okay, I have the power to be extroverted and at the same time introverted. And so I put you here, and you see that the wheel is spinning through the soul that is telling you, keep going, keep going. Do what you do because you love doing what you're doing. On the Wheel of Fortune then comes here the Gardener, the number 27, which becomes a 9, 2, then connecting back to the High Priestess, and 7 connecting back to the Rattle. So you shaked things up, so you created something here. And the 9, the Hermit, and deep within you know that you have the house, you have everything that you need, and it's almost like you yourself have become the house, and wherever you go you bring this warmth, you bring this feeling of, I take care of things, I take care of the earth, I take care of the plants, and you are literally becoming the plant. And then the 9 is that, you know, completion in the sense of the Hermit, which is a Virgo. On the position of the Hanged Man comes then here the Turquoise, and that's an 11 calculated together. We have the 5, which is connected to you in your card, is the 5, which is the Hierophant, which is Taurus, which is a spirituality that has brought you a little bit into a negative light. But also there is the 6, which is then, when I calculate the 15 together, it comes up to 6. And the 6 is Gemini, is the Lovers. So you begin to love yourself. You begin to recognize something deep within you, that you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a 1, and then a 1, 1. 3 times the 1 is giving you power in being established, power in being the home yourself, power in being here and knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it. And the Turquoise is the kind of stone that is letting you know to speak about a different story now, and to create a new frame where you create new connections and a different kind of recognizing the outer world there, right? We all recognize one situation in different perspectives, right? Because if 4 people see a story, all 4 people tell the story different. And so don't forget that your perspective can be changed if you change it. And so that's what the turquoise is bringing to you. A green, a deep green. It's almost like this is the world. The world is like speaking here to you. The planet is speaking to you because you're the gardener. You love to be in nature, and you have summoned, right, through this magic rattle, you have summoned all the mystery and all the helpers to help you to go forward in your path. And then on your position comes here the moon. The moon, which is now dark, we don't see it, but nevertheless here you plant a seed. Here you plant as the gardener your new seed that then can grow into a new prospect, into a new, right, endeavor that you take. And so she's here looking at you and she's saying, yeah, recognize that you have now the dark moon, that you have your intuition, you have also the shadow side, and you have your dreams, because the moon is this longing to evolve, this longing to come out of the deep subconscious, is speaking here very clearly to you as that liberate yourself, right? Come out of the shackles of being attached to a cycle. So now you're coming out and you're liberating yourself, and you're looking at yourself here very clear, and you're saying, yes, you have a 9-9 portal, because the 27 is a 9 and the 18 is a 9, right? So there's a 1 here, the rattle, you shake the rattle and you awakened out of the subconscious. And the 8 is that infinite loop, which is of course above the magician's head, is that infinite shift and change that brings us forward into the new adventures. On the position of the tower comes here the peacock. And the tower is that moment where the world shakes and things need to go so that new things can grow, new things can be experienced. And your crown is being pushed, or the crown in general of our 7th chakra, which you have the number 7 here, right, in the 27 of the gardener. And you have the number 43 here as well as the rattle. And so you recognize now that the tower is giving you a new crown. This has to happen so that you get a new crown. This crown doesn't fit you anymore. For some reason, this crown is not suitable for you anymore. And you gotta wake up to this peacock energy, because the peacock is in yoga a very powerful position. We bring both our feet above our head, again, letting go of the ego. And here it speaks about inner beauty, compassion, and the assimilator of anything. And that you're confident and kind as this beautiful peacock that just shows his plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely, right? And that's the beautiful sign here, that you have realized now you have come from this crazy into this beautiful animal, and you realize, okay, I'm gonna just continue my path, because here this is a 7, the 16th card, right? And you had the 7 as that rattle. You were shaking things up. You were saying, okay, I don't want things to be the same anymore. So the peacock is looking into the direction of the soul. That's why his beauty comes from deep within, and you can show it and you can shine it in your full moon, which is then of course the 7, right? Here's the 7, the rattle, and here's the gardener, the 27, which is also the 7 where you have in Cancer, the 7th, the success, your full moon. So there is something mysteriously talking to you about this full moon, that you are now awakening to it, right? And then comes on the position of the Aquarius, because I want 13 cards lying here And so on your new moon, you get a little glimpse into the future, and that's Aquarius. And on the position of Aquarius comes Taurus. And Taurus is the money, Taurus is the institutions, Taurus is that new perspective that we need to look at as the hope that we bring a new understanding also to the horns that you have as well. You have these horns pointing downwards, and here they point upwards, and you are standing on top of your own horns, and you're defining yourself almost in a new way through Taurus. Maybe in the month of Taurus, right after your full moon, something is really shifting and making you look at things from a completely different perspective. On the position of the moon, the last 4 cards now comes here, the Age of Pisces and the number 11. So the longing to come deep, from deep within out, right, brings you then to this 11 portal with the 10, which is a 1. So you have 5 times the 1. And of course you have in the 18 1, but here you can see that deep quiet meditation and stillness is required. You need to be still to stand balanced here on this position, and you need to write your story in a different way by looking deep within and recognizing that something is speaking to you in a way that you see there's certain colors just fit. And so the peacock is literally looking at this 11 and is saying, oh, okay, so I can tell my story differently. I can tell my story to the right spinning and to the left spinning path, right? And one is the human experience and the other one is the soul experience. And here you stand like Taurus and have the desire to come out, right? This is on your position. So here you are as the devil, as that crazy. The moon is here, and the moon is guiding you, and the moon is telling you, yes, you're going to be successful. You're going to be standing on your own horns if you go deep within and recognize the power that lies deep, deep within you, right? Then on the position of the sun, which is also in your sign, comes here this wild wind and the change of the number 24. And the 24 becomes again a 6, which is your card. So here something is, yes, you see the stillness, you see it, but you also notice how your mind is wild and crazy, and you keep having this energy to create something, right? And this is like, I mean, it's a very powerful card. So it's like this movement the soul does, and it's going in this direction, but it's going deep within again. And if you come out, it's going into the right spinning path. So it's very interesting. So from the human you go within, and from within you go into the humanness, and creating new things, changing things through the wind, through the mind. Because in a way, Gemini, the card number 6, if we calculate the 15 together, is air, is an air sign. And so here you've been asked to recognize the things the sun can do, this extroverted energy can do. And so, yeah, there is something happening. There is something deeply shifting within you, because then comes here on the position of the last judgment comes free associate. And this is the wake-up call. This is the wake-up call that's saying, okay, have a look at, allow the first thing that comes into your mind without self-censorship to bestow a vision upon you when you're looking at this card. And it's the number 71. So there is a 7 in there as well. The 777, right, comes and speaks to you as the full moon is going to be in Cancer. So there's a 7 here calculated together. There's a 7 here in the 27. And now again you have a 71. 3 times 7 is, yes, when you let go of this crown, the 7 of the tower, you realize that now you're getting here the peacock's feathers, And I don't know how many he has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very interesting, right? There are 8, and 71 creates an 8. So he's like, cuckoo, here I am, you know, and she's like, okay, this looks crazy, right? So I'm always kind of like, okay, what's happening really here? What is she doing? So you go this way and you go in this way, but have a look what comes up to you, what idea or what right thought comes to you, what vision comes to you when you look at that, when you look at the 8, which is in the moon, which is on your position, the 8, the infinite 8, and the rattle on the position of the magician, which also has an 8 above his head. What's happening here, right? See that, because this is an 8, so it's infinite. You can see infinite things in this card. So as the infinite loop goes within and the infinite loop goes without. And then on the position of the world comes a 5, which is then, of course, the 5 here in the turquoise, and of course your 5 in your 15th card. And the 5s are tests. So here Venus in Aquarius, right? And you know that on the position of Aquarius came here the Taurus. And now you see the meditation, and you see that maybe you got to really look deep within and recognize that there's still something not really 100% clear in your head. There's still something that you need to figure out. And that's why you got the peacock coming, because it's an air sign. And you see here the peacefulness of the olive tree or the olive branch. And here, sitting in a peaceful way, of the 5 of voices. It's very interesting, right? So there's something happening, and it's on the position, of course, of the world, that there is now desperately peacefulness needed. And this is the test for you, that you recognize that there is inside of you something that wants to help the earth, because you have the Taurus energy, right? The Taurus is the king of pentacles, and it's almost a counterpart to you. So it's almost like letting you know, become masculine and feminine at the same time. It's almost like these two faces. It's saying, yeah, combine that, because otherwise the money becomes something that can become quite heavy. And this is a test, but it's a mental test. It's not a physical actual test. It's a mental situation that you need to recognize, because you have here then connecting back to the Fool, this new bedazzled way. It's almost like he's coming out of a war, right? He's coming out of a situation that stripped him apart. And so here this 5 of voices is literally saying, bring the peace to the people. And notice the vision that comes to you, what vision it is, right? And I always think this fish is like jumping out of the water, and that's the age of Pisces. The age of Pisces is where the deep quiet is coming up. So this card can only be counterbalanced by meditating, by looking deep within. Why are you distorted through the 5 of voices? Because the 5s are really these strong tests that the universe is sending to us. And here you have the mental perspective of how you're gonna make this crazy thought, this crazy idea happening in the world. Well, nevertheless, you're just gonna go ahead and create what you create with the 3 of Wands, right? And recognize that, yes, the air aspect sometimes destroys things and also creates things, right? And so now you are asked to go deeper within and recognize that the next full moon in Cancer, so that you have that really new empowerment, recognizing that you moved things, right? Recognizing that you looked deep within, and recognizing as well that you had the wheel of fortune, making sure that everything is spinning. And I think this connects really well together. It's like spinning and spinning, either infinitely within and infinitely without. And so you give birth to that. Keep changing, keep being on top and keep being down, keep being here like crazy dressed, and then of course totally structured and totally neat and clean, and knowing that you can put yourself a new crown on your head, right? That's where you then can stand on your own horns and feel that something here is coming at you, and you gotta find a deeper peace to just be the way you are, like the Fool. Well, so I hope I see you in the next reading, because we already have on the position of Aquarius, which is then in the next month. The Earth has turned in such a way that we see behind the Sun the constellation Aquarius, and you have here Taurus coming up. You're standing on your own horns, right? You have realized something with this mix, this also the liberty to deepen your intuition, to go deeper within, and to recognize that you have the power from within, and that you have the Sun and the Moon today in your power. So I wish you a beautiful meditation, of course, on your new moon. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.